Hi you guys, so you decided you want to invest in dividend stocks. Now, which ones do you pick? How do you know how to pick? We're going to talk about it next. Firefighter's Financial Toolbox. Welcome back you guys. Dividend stocks are all the rage right now, but how do you know which ones to pick? How do you know what you should pick, and what kind of measures should we use to decide which ones we want to put in our portfolio? Now, first of all, know what you're buying. Understand what you're doing. So, if you're going to buy a stock, particularly if you're going to buy individual dividend stocks, you guys, I want you to say, do I know who this company is? Do I understand the business and what it is that they do? Understanding your investment will drive a lot. Now, before you invest in these companies, you should always do your homework. And I am not giving you ideas on what to invest in. I'm not a financial planner. I've told you this in the past. This is just some ideas for you to think about. So, first of all, do I know the company? Do I know what they make? Do I understand what their business model is and what it is they do? If we can say yes to this, we're on a good start. Is it an established company? Have they been around for a long time? Established companies tend to pay dividends for long times. And we're going to talk about 3 classifications of dividend paying stocks that you should consider long-term investing and long-term dividend growth investing. Now, you know on this channel I'm an advocate of buy and hold investing. I don't buy stocks, turn around and sell them like a day trader. Doesn't make sense to me. I only buy companies I plan on holding for a long time and possibly forever. So let's talk about the 3 classifications of what they are called: Dividend Champions, Dividend Aristocrats, and Dividend Kings. Now, what is the difference? With so many companies paying a dividend today, investors are a little overwhelmed by what they can invest in. Choosing a high-yield dividend growth stock is an important way to build your portfolio and give you passive income from the dividends. But there is classifications of companies based on how long they've been paying a dividend and how long they've been increasing that dividend annually. So the first 2 groups we're going to talk about are Dividend Champions and Dividend Aristocrats. Now, a dividend champion or a dividend aristocrat is a company that has paid an increasing dividend for at least 25 years. Now, the difference between the two is a dividend aristocrat has to be in the S&P 500, and they actually have an index based on the Dividend Aristocrat Index, which is companies that have been paying a dividend for 25 plus years and are also in the S&P 500. Now, there's about 120 dividend champions. Some are not in the S&P and some are. Now, does this mean we shouldn't invest in this company? Absolutely not. Just because they're not in the S&P, they may not be one of the 500 biggest companies in the country. Doesn't mean they aren't a good company to consider for your portfolio. Now, if we look at some lists here we have, so why aren't the dividend aristocrats and the dividend champions the same? As I said, dividend aristocrats have to be in the S&P 500. Dividend champions do not. We see, for example, 3M. 3M is in both categories. It's dividend champion, but it's also in the S&P 500. But what about ABM Industries? ABM Industries is not in the S&P 500, but it is a dividend champion, having paid an increasing dividend for 47 years, you guys. So a definite long-term possibility. Altria Group. This is a consumer staples thing that they make tobacco. Now, I personally choose not to invest in tobacco companies, but they have been paying an increasing dividend for 45 years. But because they're not in the S&P 500, they're not a dividend aristocrat. What about American States Water? It's a utility company, obviously, water utility, right? They've been paying a dividend for 59 years. So that actually means they're in our 3rd category, you guys. They're a dividend king. The Dividend King group has been paying an increasing dividend for at least 50 years. Think about companies like Lowe's, Colgate-Palmolive, 3M, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble. And there's actually even one REIT, one real estate investment company called Federal Realty Investment Trust, ticker symbol FRT. They've been paying an increasing dividend for over 50 years. So it might be something to consider if you want to get some REITs in there for your real estate. Now, as I said, I'm not telling you these company names to tell you should invest in them. But if a company's been paying a dividend and increasing that dividend for 25 or in some cases over 50 years, it's a pretty good bet that they're going to continue to increase that dividend and continue to pay it. These are all established companies with a long track record of paying their investors dividends. So history is not 100% right. Obviously, historically, they've paid the dividend. That doesn't mean it will always be the case. But the longer the company's history, the better chance that they will. So, to sum up, Dividend Champions, Dividend Aristocrats, at least 25 years each of increasing dividends. Dividend Kings, 50 years or more of an increasing dividend. Remember, Dividend Aristocrats are all in the S&P 500, and they actually have an index of the 57 companies. But there's 120 total Dividend Champion companies. So when you start looking at the companies you might want to invest in, there's a lot of opportunity out there, you guys. Now, make sure you do your homework. Look at PE ratios, look at earnings, look at all these things. Don't just say, because they're a Dividend Aristocrat, I'm going to invest in it. Do your homework. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments of companies I should have, or anything you feel like I missed on this, please let me know in the comments. All right, you guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks.